So welcome to Select Few Saturday. I'm going to talk about the 4 things that failure can teach you and how to fail forward. And I really want to shift your mindset and help you have a different light on what failure really is and how failure can help you versus cripple you in the moment. Because successful people view failure as a good thing versus as something that happens to them that kind of holds them in their tracks and doesn't help them progress. So 4 things failure can teach you. Number 1, perspective. Not only does it give you a fresh perspective, but a different perspective than you had before. And if you change your perspective on a certain thing or a certain area, it can change your life. The only reason I succeeded in business is because I failed in business and I learned what not to do. Michael Jordan says he failed over and over and over again, but that's actually why he succeeded, was because he failed. So number 1, when you fail, it gives you a different perspective on what to do and what not to do. Next, guidance. It actually gives you guidance on where to go from that failure. When you fail, you now know what not to do and what doesn't work, but you have the edge over people who have not failed yet. Henry Ford says failure is only the opportunity to begin again, but this time more wisely. So it gives you guidance on your future. The third thing it gives you is courage and confidence. It strengthens your commitment and character versus drags your commitment down or lowers your commitment. I was reading a book on the life of Michael Jordan called Driven from Within. Some of you guys may have read it. And it was talking about how he was always in the shadow of his brother Larry. Larry was better than him at sports, better than him at school, and he always felt like he wasn't good enough. And in the heat of all this, where he felt like he wasn't good enough because his brother was outshining him, is when he got cut from the high school basketball team, which most would call that a failure. And there was an article in there, or not an article, sorry, a paragraph in the book that talked about how one of the assistant coaches went up to Michael Jordan and looked him in the eye and said, "You're not good enough." They literally told him he wasn't good enough. And that was a defining moment for him where he wanted to find who he was. And sometimes you have to strengthen your vision and strengthen your commitment because of adversity. And if used correctly, the failure and adversity can add to your drive and motivation. So it can give you courage and confidence because every time you fail, you get stronger mentally. Okay? Number 4, it gives you a new level of understanding. You become wiser, and when you have a higher sense of understanding of who you are, and when you have failed, whether it's in life or business, you can make better decisions based on those failures. And the common theme here is those who achieve at a high level understand the importance of staying confident in themselves, staying true to who they are, even if they go through challenging times or failures. Successful people understand failure is part of the journey to the top. The minute you set a goal, if it's meaningful, challenges will show up because it's testing your ability to see if you deserve that goal. And if no challenges or failures showed up at your goal or before your goal, the goal is not worth anything. This is such a different perspective shift. So once again, when you set a goal that's meaningful and that's big, you're going to have failures and challenges because if there wasn't any, everybody would be doing it and everybody would be achieving that specific goal. Another thing achievers do is they keep that vision, they keep that confidence when things aren't going their way or exactly how they want it. They keep the vision even when others don't approve because they know who they are. They keep the vision even when their confidence wavers, and they keep the vision regardless of how bad the failure is. Thomas John Watson was the chairman and CEO of IBM and one of the wealthiest men in the world. And his favorite quote that he's often stated saying is, "The key to success is massive failure." Successful people learn to love failure. So in these 4 things failure can teach you, understand the common theme. Learn to embrace failure and fail forward. Don't let failure define who you are. Let it motivate you to new heights of success. And ask yourself, where in life do you need to challenge yourself and push yourself more? Because if you're not failing, you're really not achieving at a high level. Stay loyal to yourself through your failures, through the tough times, regardless of how bad it gets. You should always be building your confidence. And don't be too tough on yourself. You need to use it to strengthen your commitment, because most people start beating themselves up when they go through a failure or a challenging time, but the select few leverage that failure to even greater success. So just to review, the number one thing failure teaches you, and there's more things, but these are the 4 things I chose to talk about. Perspective. It gives you a fresh perspective. Number 2, it gives you guidance on what to do and what not to do next. Number 3, it gives you courage and confidence. It develops more strength in you and more mental toughness in you as well. And lastly, it gives you a new level of understanding of who you are, what you tolerate, what you stand for, and it gives you more excitement because you have an understanding of what failure actually can do for your future to take on bigger challenges, take on bigger goals. Last thing I want to share is something I learned early on, and it was someone that was mentoring me, I think when I was 21, 22, going through some tough times, was just learning business and wanted to start my own and was struggling to start off, wasn't making money and really was in a tough spot. And he said something that really is profound, that really helped me get through a lot of things since then. And he said, Peter, this too shall pass. And you have to realize everything will pass. You'll get through your failures. You'll get through your most difficult times. And just understand, something my mom told me was, tough times don't last, but tough people do. I'm lucky to have a mom like I have, but I remember hearing that at a young age, and I'm like, wow, that's so right. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. They outlast the tough times, and they use those tough times to strengthen their commitment, to strengthen their character, and to add to their drive and ambition to do bigger things. But you got to make sure you realize that failure is your friend, and if you fail forward, nothing can stop you. And these hard times in the industry and the economy create fortunes for those who take the risks and learn to love failure, but not only love it, learn from it. Because what it takes to build a great life is confidence, and that comes from the right perspective when you have challenges and failures. Hope this helps, and we'll talk to you soon.